Oh, what's specifics for? Oh, what's
Hello, and welcome to issue 417 of Geek in the City Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Aronda Ryan.
I am one of your other hosts, Rita.
And I am your other host, Cable Hashitani.
Howdy, everyone.
We're shaking.
Oh, getting back from the Hellmouth, which, as always, Reno almost claimed me on the flight out.
Say again?
Reno almost claimed me on the flight out.
And this always happens?
This will be the third time that I have to tell myself, no plane has crashed from turbulence. No plane has crashed from turbulence. No plane has crashed from turbulence.
So it did or did not almost claim you?
Oh, no, the plane bounced like crazy. It tilted to like 30 degrees to one side and then leveled out again. No, leaving Reno, especially when it's kind of stormy, sucks. Because Reno is in this really high basin. It has to hit 10,000. You have to hit the 14,000 feet within 120 seconds of takeoff, or you're going to hit a mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a terrifying place to fly out of. It's awful.
I've never flown to or from Reno, but I've driven to and out of Reno, and that sucked. So
right, because it's northern Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
There's only I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually have a weird soft spot for Reno. Mainly because without Reno, I'd have gone insane in Susanville.
Right. I didn't really get to enjoy Reno. It was just there to sleep on road trip.
Nobody enjoys Reno.
But I didn't get to experience everything that Reno, Nevada has to offer.
Nevada. It is not Nevada.
It's going to come out of my mouth the way it's going to come out.
Okay.
It's not like I'm intentionally doing it.
It's just the one hang up I get. I don't know why.
Well, we've had this conversation. I'm aware. I'm aware of.
They Ryan's in the chat. He's like, yes, you did.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
And I forgot how in small, rural, very MAGA towns, everyone just throws the R word around like crazy. Constantly.
Interesting.
Anything they don't like is that, or anything they think is dumb is that.
Wow.
Constantly.
That is a holdover.
Yep.
While I was sick, I started watching Dexter. I'd never seen it before. One of the characters is really fond of that word too. I was like, wow, what year is this?
Right. Yeah.
Early 2000s and still in Miami.
True. Because I guess I remember that word still being socially acceptable when I was in high school, which is late 90s, early 2000s. So
yeah,
of course, about Phoenix.
Right. See, yeah, I think it's a sliding scale. I like Dexter. Dexter is one of my favorite opening credit sequences.
It's cheeky. It's also really long.
Yeah. Dexter gets weird when he realizes that in real life he begins to date the woman who plays his sister.
Yeah, gross. I don't care.
All I'm telling you is it's just you're in for a treat when the season villain is John Lithgow.
I remember hearing about that when it was happening, and I am looking forward to that.
That's like fourth season, right?
But it's wonderful.
I don't know. I'm in season 3 right now.
Then it must be season 4 because he's not there.
Right.
Where it's got that Latino actor who always plays a politician type. I can't think of his name right now.
Isai Morales?
Cable's also not wrong.
Close, but no.
Jimmy Smits?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always Isai Morales or Jimmy Smits.
Yeah.
It's one of the two.
He's even a politician in the Star Wars.
With Isai Morales. That's right. He's Organa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to see Jimmy Smits as a Starfleet captain. I just think he'd look cool, especially older Jimmy Smits. I think he'd look cool as a Starfleet captain.
Well, what's his face pulled it off really well.
Oded Fair?
Yes.
Well, he's not Latino though.
But he's.
I'm just saying it actually would be nice to have, one in the future.
All I'm getting at is middle-aged brown guys look good in uniform.
I feel like
good to know we look good at something.
Wasn't one of the captains of the other ships on lower decks Hispanic?
Yes, but that's a cartoon.
I mean, granted, I understand that, but lower decks has been having a hell of a time with a bunch of firsts.
Oh yeah,
that we gloss over because it's the funny track.
Well,
right. We don't always spend time talking about
Yeah.
the important things that it's doing because we're too busy laughing.
Yeah. Well, maybe when we come back from the first break, we'll talk about.
Yeah, that sounds like a great.
Because there'll be spoilers for season 4 of Lower Decks. Just saying it now.
Oh man, will there ever?
But that's later.
I don't know why I said it that way.
I don't know.
Norm says, "Yeah, our word is used as a comma in my region of Texas, or was used."
Susanville is not too different from Longview, Norm. Just take away the accent. That's about it. Anyway, but I was there for good reason. My sister got married. It was cool to see
how was
her.
the wedding?
It was great. Yeah. I performed the ceremony. They wanted a contemporary secular ceremony, which I was like, oh, I can write that. And then Megan asked if I could work in a couple of like nerd lines. Apparently their favorite movie together, his name is Chris. Their favorite movie to watch together is Deadpool.
Okay.
So the inside of his ring says, I don't remember. I think it might just say X-Force inside it.
And hers says Chimichanga.
No, she's got a regular, like, traditional ring. He has, like, the black metal with a red band in the middle of it. It's kind of cool looking. Yeah, the inside of his ring says X-Force.
But hers doesn't say anything on the inside?
No. So I worked in the phrase maximum effort into their vows. And I mean, they approved it. At the end, during the ring exchange, instead of being like the ring symbolizes, I went one true ring symbolize, because they both love Lord of the Rings too. And then I called an audible. I told Chris I was going to do this. He's like, do it. So at the end, I'm like, let me introduce you to, the state of California, blah, blah. Let me introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Chris Hallmark. And then I paused because I was like, half second pause because I didn't want people to start clapping. I said, but you can just call them X-Force. Megan was like crying, so that actually made her laugh. Like happy cry, but that kind of
right.
It was fun.
Ryan, I missed this earlier, says a hotel room. That is all that Reno has to offer. And to that, I will actually disagree because I remember now that it's also where I discovered deep fried Uncrustables.
Oh.
We got there kind of late.
Hi, culinary.
Yes, we got there late.
Hot cuisine.
Hungry, and there was very, very few options for getting any food delivered to the hotel, and the hotel restaurant was already closed. This happens on the whole road trip. It was crazy making.
It's not like Vegas where a lot of the restaurants in the hotel stay open like all night.
Although when we were in Vegas, I tried to order room service at like midnight or 1 a.m. and they're like, okay, it'll be 2 hours. I said, never mind.
No.
I will just go to
sleep.
That
doesn't happen. That is the El Cortez. I do have a soft spot for Reno, not just because it was like my only escape, but I had many a wonderful firsts in Reno, and I will always be grateful for it.
Any port in a storm.
It's a Ren Fair. So I can stay on brand. Yeah. It's got John Aswaga's nugget car museum. If you like old cars.
Weird. John.
His name is John Aswaga, and he owns the Nugget Hotel. Okay. John Aswaga.
Good for
it's close to Virginia City.
Aswaga.
I've always wanted to go back to Virginia City. That'd be fun.
What happens in Virginia City?
It's just an old silver town. We can take tours like old silver mines and haunted hotels, and it's just fun. That's all. It's a place I would want to LARP like a Red Dead Redemption LARP game or something, and you totally could do it there.
Right. Have your Westport moment.
Yeah. Although fucking a town in Tombstone, Arizona this year. I had no idea it was not organized by Rockstar, but like all the Red Dead Redemption fans like put on like a Red Dead Redemption convention in Tombstone, and they got almost every voice actor to appear, and you came in character.
Wow.
And for like a weekend in Tombstone, it just became Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, this looks magical. And if they do it again next year, I'm going.
That's pretty cool. That's literally Ren Fair meets Red Dead.
Yeah. See, Ryan's right. The nugget is cool. Let's have a giant golden nugget.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Tight.
What else are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, like, I haven't seen you guys in like 3 weeks.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
you should have like 3 weeks worth of things we could talk about.
Oh, good Lord. I have tales from the haunt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how interesting those are to folks.
Tales from the haunt.
Sorry, that was very self-deprecating and didn't mean it to be. I think
It's all right.
I'm going through some things. So.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
I'm having some dark nights of the soul conversations with myself of late. Sidebar, Isa Morales' mom has a bitchin' name.
What's her name?
Iris Margarita Morales.
That's pretty bitchin'.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a name.
Which weirdly makes me jump too. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds and Grant Gustafson. I guess they're they're in a business together in Canada as like some kind of business or whatever. And I got to find the commercial. They do this commercial, and at the end, Ryan Reynolds like, Jennifer's going to be buried in me, and he says, "Thanks, Hal."
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh.
Wait, Hal
Jordan, Green Lantern.
Oh, right.
By the way, I
saw that one.
I would fucking love if they did, like, just pay for it on their own as a goof. Give me a 20-minute Brave and the Bold. Let them just both bankroll it, where he plays Green Lantern, he plays the Flash, and it's just like a post-mortem after, like, whatever, a crisis.
Mm.
You know, like, ooh. I'd watch that, actually.
Yeah.
I think it'd be super charming.
I would, yeah.
What do we do for
if I were Warner Brothers, I would take a very close look at how The Flash did in theaters and then look at Grant Gustin and go, yeah, we goofed. Here's a bigger check.
If you were Warner Brothers, there probably wouldn't be a SAG-AFTRA strike.
That's also true.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be pushing for AI in perpetuity of the likeness of the characters.
No, I would not.
In the likeness of the day after.
The day after, yes, yeah.
For $100 a day.
No, if you want AI likeness in perpetuity, that's just called animation. That's just called animation. Create something new that doesn't look like anybody. But they don't want that. They want what's familiar. I'm eating one of these.
Hachu.
We
can talk about our Halloween event.
Yeah. I know we're essentially done with movies, but if we only talked about one more movie, to cap out the season, I would like to discuss The Bride of Frankenstein.
Do it. Let's do it.
I still have not seen it.
I can't believe we're all going to eat on air. Like the old days.
As long as it's not chips.
Just wet noises.
Mm-hmm.
And how much you love wet mouth noises. Well, we don't have to do that first necessarily. I just wanted to put it out there as something that I'd love to chat about.
Yeah, we can do it.
Do you want a haunt story?
Let's do a haunt story.
Does it involve someone crying?
Haunts.
This happened on the last day of the haunt. I want people to understand. So my job at Fairgrounds, I was not a haunt actor. So I was not employed as cast.
You were the devil?
Which was my choice, actually.
Because you didn't want to develop a whole new character.
They specifically wanted me to do the coffin ride for a couple of reasons. The person that hired me was Chrissa. Chrissa runs guest services, which were all the sideshows, concessions, tickets, customer service, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hired as a customer service associate and not as a haunt actor. Mm-hmm. So I was never
cast.
Yeah, which is cast. But she wanted me specifically, like when we were talking and she was hiring me, she's like, I know that you would probably work just finding cast, and we probably get you over there. I really need someone to run the coffin ride, and I really need someone specifically with a skill set that has both customer service background and haunt background.
Right.
You do both. Like, yep.
They are specific skills.
They are very specific skills. And because haunt monsters that roam around do a lot of, you know, they're acting. I am, regardless of whatever face I put on, I am able to interact with people and just talk to them.
Transacting.
Yep.
Answering questions.
Yep. And do all that stuff. So she wanted someone who's going to run the coffin to be a personality. So we had talked about being Undertaker-y. I did that for the first weekend and wasn't feeling it, and ended up. Oh
yeah, that's right.
Gross. Like I had workshopped the whole character. That I threw all of that out the window. Like I did that first weekend. I found myself drifting through 4 different characters. Only one of them was the one that I had tried for the haunts in the first place. One of them was a little bit of Manuel. I'm like no, I'm not doing any of this. Like on that 3rd day, like Friday, Saturday, I was trying all of that. Sunday, I just showed up with them, put makeup on me. It's like, what character are you going to be? I'm like, oh, I'm just going to talk like myself. I'm not doing a voice. There's no point.
Right.
My transactions are getting people into a coffin. I'm not doing a voice. And then after that, I'm like, what do I really want to be? It's like, what other characters do I have? I have this persona that I developed online years ago called Lance Lamore, who's a lounge singing demon, a la Lauren from Angel.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Back in the day, you could have appeared with Nestle Snipes and Those Sexies.
Yes. If I had
it's
really
a different vibe though. Well, not a different vibe, but a different theme.
You could have made guest appearances.
I could have, yeah.
You feel free to keep doing it.
Yeah, no. See, I didn't even bother with that. But I kept going, do I want to do that? Do I want to bring Lance for this? Last time I tried to do Lance in real person was when I was in an extremely short-lived attempt to do Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Right.
Which was an all drag queens, plus me, the straight guy, doing Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and as a schlub with a bunch of drag queens. I'm at least going to put makeup on to be a thing. I'm like, no, that's not what I want to do. But I want to. I think I want to devil it up somehow. I'm like, I should just do a classic red devil, classic red devil for Halloween. And so the first Friday I went in to do that, I gave the directions to the makeup department, and they're a fine makeup department. They are learning. They're young. They're new. They're doing a lot of great work. They whiffed it. I'm like, okay, I will make this work for the night. And from that point on, I did my own makeup. So everything that you saw on Instagram this year, that's me. That is 100% me.
Good job.
Thanks. So that's why I suddenly became the devil. And I was just the devil the entire time. You were like, Satan, yes? People go, oh my God, you scared me. I'm like, no, that's the other guy. They were like, Jesus Christ. Nope. Try again. A little lower.
I know him. He's not bad.
Yeah.
His dad.
I had a kid who was dressed up as Jesus for Halloween.
Jesus or Buddy Christ?
Jesus. He should have gone the route of Buddy Christ. He did not. He didn't even have a proper beard. He was like pre-bearded Jesus. But he was still Jesus. He stood in the line, and I just looked at him like, Is it? Can I get you in the coffin, Jesus? Is this going to be the second temptation of Christ? And his group laughed. He turned red and was like, I don't want to go in the coffin anymore. That was not the funniest interaction. The funniest.
Come on. He got out from a stone tomb in 3 days. This is just one.
This is one coffin.
You've done harder than this.
Yep. So part of this is going to be visual. So I'm sorry for the people who are only listening to the podcast.
That's why you need to watch us live every Tuesday. Twitch.tv/Geek in the City. It's not that hard.
I got 5 teenagers in
This
line.
could be you, but you're playing.
I got 5 teenagers in line. 4 girls, 1 boy. They're probably 13, 14. That level of teenager. all season long, I have been putting up to 2 people in the coffin at the same time, which everyone's like, "You can do that?" I'm like, "No one told me I couldn't." So yes, I just
Get in there.
So which is great
because it's a pretty big coffin.
it is a big coffin. I also got my line done faster, and I got more tickets. They're like, "How are you getting so many people?" "Oh, you're putting 2 people in the coffin." "Oh, that's genius."
Yay!
Like, didn't mean to. That's just how it worked out.
Right.
So I'm talking to this group. I'm like, "All right, are we going separately or together?" And the kids are like, "Well, only the 2 of us are going." "And what do you mean together?" Like, "Well, I put both of you in the coffin." "How does that work?" It's like, "Well, most people spoon." Pause. Blank looks. What does that mean?
Oh, no.
Children.
So that's the show, folks. Good night.
It gets better. I haven't even hit the punchline yet. So I'm explaining what spooning is to the kids, and they're like, "Oh, okay." That I make the motions, and they're like, you've got another person, and you just big spoon, little spoon. That's spooning. They're like, "Oh."
I'm waiting for some horrible reveal. Keep going.
The boy in the group goes, "Oh, that's spooning." I'm like, "Yes." It's like, I thought spooning was he does this.
Does he not know how to use flatware?
And I went,
That's not flatware, though.
I looked at him and went, "That's not spooning.
Right.
That is something I'm not going to explain to you. You're going to go home and ask your parents about that." And
Or just run the odds and ask one of the 4 girls you're with.
I didn't. I didn't run the.
But that's probably a bit much.
But it was more that I knew in my head, like in that split second, I'm like, I am not sending this child home to have his parents go, "Hey, how was the haunted house? Did you have fun?" It's like, "Yeah, it was great. The devil taught me what scissoring was." It's bad enough he went home and went, "I learned what spooning was from the devil today." I need you to unpack that entire
Spooning
sentence.
is harmless. It's fine. I just mean, like, why would you think that this, like, the
I
spoon
don't know.
describes this? Spoons don't.
That's
look
not
like
even
that.
forking.
It's not. It's not.
Forking is not docking.
Nope, it's not even shrimping.
No.
Shrimping. Now you're gonna have to explain that to me.
Oh, go ask your boss.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, don't do that.
I just put food crust off my shirt.
That wasn't so.
Still not.
When I was in Susanville, I had to go to a Walmart. And
Susanville Walmart story.
Brace yourselves.
I overheard a woman on the phone talk about how her daughter and her daughter's best friend were going to get matching tattoos because they've been friends forever and they're really into crafting. I don't know what the other side said. She said, "Well, that's just what I assume because they're both getting a pair of scissors on their arms." I'm like, and in my head I went, "Yes, they've been friends for a long time." Oh, this poor mom.
That's cute though that they got the matching scissors.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
And if it doesn't work out, it's still a top tier lesbian tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Sends those signals out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, like
Well, that's what the Subarus were for.
that's once you're established.
That's after
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
that second date.
Yeah.
No, that's keys from moving in.
Right.
Right. No, the other one is the carabiner on the back pocket belt loop.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Man, Norm is just
He is on it today.
he's honest
Spooning
tonight.
with the Devil is the name of my Altuba Muse cover band.
Spooning with the devil.
That's where my brain went.
Yeah.
So if the Scaregrounds will have me back next year, I will happily go back and throw people in coffins again.
Did you? Go ahead. Sorry.
No. What were you going to?
Did you see the woman that was walking down by the river? So when I was there with Craig,
Oh boy.
he was probably using the restroom or something. And outside the park There was a woman dressed in white, just walking the outskirts of the park in Spanish, crying for her kids. And I was like,
what was she wearing?
All white, like a tattered white dress. And I was like, is this part of Scaregirls, or is this someone who just really wants to fuck with brown people during Halloween? Because I was like, well done.
I mean, it could be both, but she wasn't with us.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't she go down and do that in Beaverton?
Not Beaverton.
Selwood.
Selwood, Scareground.
I'm saying, why would she do it in Selwood and not Beaverton?
Oh, right.
Because Mexicans love haunted houses.
This is true.
Is that really?
Yeah, they were all
I
over.
guess you guys would know better than me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, our love language is horror.
I do remember. I mean, you're probably not wrong. I grew up watching horror movies with my parents.
All of our fairy tales usually involve some kind of monster, or someone being killed, or someone coming back from the dead, or the land of the dead.
I remember going to haunted houses when I was way too young.
I didn't really have any growing up. In fact, I was the one who started putting on haunted houses.
I think the first haunted house I went to, I was 18, that I remember.
Yeah.
I think my mom said something about taking me to a haunted house that was probably at a school when I was a kid, but I don't really remember that. I remember going through the haunted house when I was like 18 and being snarky, and then coming back following weekend going, here's my help.
Right. Well, do you want to jump into Bride really quick? So we can.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
I feel like Denise and I both had uneventful Halloweens. You were sick, and if I say it in a way, it'll sound so pathetic. Like you were sick, and I was alone. But
because all your friends were stuck doing other crap they didn't want to be doing.
Yeah, they were sick, or they were doing something else, and I live in a building with no kids. I was like, maybe I don't even hand out candy. So.
I mean, I think there's plenty of children in that building, but they're all adults.
Right. I mean, actual under 18 is only like 3.
So I think that on actual Halloween day, I was testing negative, but I still felt crappy. So I didn't go to work. And in the afternoon, I did put on makeup and costume stuff for the one trick-or-treater that we had.
So I've noticed that they're going to neighborhoods. They're not just in general. There are just neighborhoods people go to now.
And I'm so close to like a busy intersection. I'm sure that like a 1 block east of me, dozens of kids all over the street, in the park, everywhere. That's cool. We decided we'll just buy less candy, full-size bars, and
that just means that Christian has so much candy to eat.
No, we got rid of it already.
Ate it?
No. We took it to the recycling people. We gave it to the recyclers, the Ridwell folks. They take candy after Halloween, because otherwise, Christian will eat all of it. He can't have just some. I saved some for myself, and I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to save any for yourself? Because once this is gone, this is my little bag of candy."
Right.
And watch scary movies. I didn't really get to watch very many movies while I was sick because it was too complicated to try to like simulcast or like watch the same thing at the same time from 2 different places in the house. Especially because everything has to be a lot of the movies on the list had to be rented. God damn it, Letterboxd. But at some point, or I guess I watched Frankenstein before I got sick because you and I did talk about it on the last show that we did before.
You had actually watched Bride, but we spent so long talking on Frankenstein.
No. I didn't watch Bride of Frankenstein until later.
Oh, maybe we just talked about it privately or something.
What I said was I pulled Bride of Frankenstein from the movie names, but I was like, I can't watch this one first. I have to watch Frankenstein first. And so that's what we talked about. I did eventually watch Bride of Frankenstein, and I did not like it.
Oh, really?
There are parts of it that I do really like, but overall, I was disappointed.
Because most critics consider it the best of the Universal monster movies.
Bride of Frankenstein.
Yep. Yeah.
On what grounds? Like, what is it that makes it the best?
I think it's just some of the themes about it, and I think part of it is people know, like the path that James Whale's life took after Bride of Frankenstein. That by then he was like the only openly out gay man in Hollywood. Like everyone knew, but because he was British, no one was like, well, British. I don't know. But
So
as a rule, it's
not
like
to do with the movie. That's to do with the director.
The Bride definitely has way more themes of being an outcast from society than Frankenstein does.
I don't really see it that way. The problem for me is not the themes, or what the message that it's trying to send. Even though I don't really feel like. Well, let me back up. They had to retcon their own ending to make a sequel. There's this one woman that a character they added to the movie from the beginning, and at first I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm sure.
Una?
Is that her name? I don't remember.
One who screams.
She is so over the top and annoying, and she got so much screen time and so many lines. I'm like, who did she fuck to get into this movie and get this much airtime? Right. You didn't need her at all, and I don't like her, so there's way too much of her. The other new character, the doctor.
Dr. Pretorius.
Cool name. Creepy dude. He's all right.
Yeah.
And the ending, for sure. Fuck yeah. I love the ending. You're a fucking monster. You made me. I'm a monster. We're going to stay here and die together. It's fucking metal as shit.
The creature says, we belong dead.
Yes. That's fucking perfect.
I am still amazed that that character is such a visual pop culture icon, and she's in that movie for about 8 minutes.
And she's wonderful.
Oh, she's great.
I wouldn't even say 8 minutes, man.
Yeah. So that's also Mary Shelley in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another part of the movie that I thought was really
weird.
Unnecessary. I'm like, you guys are working really hard to shove this sequel into existence where room had not been made for it to exist.
I mean, see every almost 80s slasher.
Sure. But
no, I get it.
But all of those 80s slasher franchises aren't in the 100-ish list of movies you have to see.
Yeah, and I think it's higher up than the Frankenstein is on that list. Although that list doesn't give it by
they're chronological.
Yeah,
so they're not ranked.
Right.
They're just you need to see them.
Right.
And I mean, like, I guess I'm glad I watched it, and I just feel like it was it missed the mark. It could have been really great.
It's very weird.
It is impressive how iconic the Bride is, given how little time she has on screen. Mm-hmm. But she's wonderful. Her acting and her the way that she portrays like what it must be like to be in that position, right? Like not only like the original monster, are you foisted into existence without understanding anything, but also there's this other fucking rando who terrifies you, and he's insisting on getting in your space.
Yeah, you were created for him.
Mm-hmm. And you're terrified of him, and like those things do not reconcile with each other.
Right.
So I feel like it had really, really good potential, but it was a terrible execution.
Okay. No, I mean, I guess I can see that. I still will love that film. But probably because there's just those iconic moments that I love. Like, he's fucking weird, but I love Dr. Pretorius.
No, I like him. He's fine. He is weird, and I think he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be very weird.
He's the only guy with more fucking god complex hubris than Henry Frankenstein.
Right. It's so weird they always call him Henry, not Victor.
Yeah, apparently, I think his father's name. There was another character in Frankenstein whose name is Victor, but it's not Frankenstein. It's some other dude.
Right.
Christian, he always likes to read the trivia while we're watching a movie, and he said it was because when they were making the film, they thought that Victor would be too unlikable of a name. Like a character named Victor would be too unlikable to American audiences. Right. Which is super weird. I don't know.
That's so weird.
Maybe it's not a. It's not a German name, is it?
I'm sure it has Germanic origins.
Mm-hmm. Victor?
Yeah.
Because I do remember that Oh no, I don't remember. Is the movie? The movie takes place in a German village, right? Because it's a burgomaster.
Yeah.
It's
but the-
Hungarian, Austrian.
I think it's
Okay.
Austrian.
But
It technically,
the book is not, is it?
it's kind of vague. There's been some arguments that the tassel that inspired both the film and some of the elements that she wrote in the book are actually in Liechtenstein,
Okay.
which is just a tiny little country. I think it's between Austria and Germany. A tiny little country.
Okay.
It's not Vatican City small, but it's small. Yeah, they do a weird choice time. It's like how the original Incredible Hulk show, his name was David Banner, not
Right.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, I don't know.
David Bruce Banner was his full name.
No.
Right. I read about it. Really, the main reason why is they felt that Bruce Banner sounded homosexual, which is weird.
It's just like these are like really stupid little arbitrary things that they crowdsourced or what's the word where you have people watch things and then
Yeah, I mean test
screenings.
Yeah, I mean they didn't do it then, but yeah, I get what you mean. Well, it was like this is another weird jump. So the original Darkman movie, when it went to a test screening, there's a scene in Darkman where the main bad guy, there's a scene where he kind of is getting what he wants. So there's like a pile of money on the bed, and he strips down and just begins to just smother himself in money while he cackles. And the test screen came back saying, like, everyone in the audience was made very uncomfortable by this. We demand you cut it. And Raimi was like, it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a horrible, slimy villain.
Yeah.
It's not meant to titillate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it doesn't. Because you can find a deleted scene. And he's like, you're not supposed to like that scene. You're supposed to be made very uncomfortable by it.
Yeah.
Test audiences are, as a rule, they're dumb.
Yes.
Because they do not get the smartest people to do these things. The questions are very leading.
I follow the logic of that. I don't follow the logic of, oh, well, then we have to cater to the test audience. It's like, so that we're catering to the lowest common denominator. And as opposed to, no, this is an art form. Do the thing.
Right.
Do the artistic thing. If they didn't understand that, great. Make them talk about it and then realize they have to watch it again to really figure it out.
Right. Yeah, no, they don't do that.
No.
Very rarely do they do that. Another thing that was absolutely unnecessary, didn't drive the story forward at all. Literally, they just wanted to show off some new visual effects. Where he's got the cloches with like the tiny queen and the tiny king.
Yeah.
Figured out how to create miniature humans.
Mm-hmm.
It is not that the problem isn't that scene exists. It's that they spent so much time on it, and I'm like, all right, we get it. This is very cool. I mean, I'm impressed that you did this in 1930, whatever. I'm sure at the time it was also very impressive, but it doesn't. Thank you. It does nothing for the story, and it's just way too much time spent.
Right.
So what's going on?
I'm fighting. This one's not me. This is the connection this time.
Anyway.
I will suggest, you don't have to do it or just put it on your radar. Go watch Of Gods and Monsters now.
Oh, okay.
That's the movie with Brendan Fraser and
the documentary about
and Ian McKellen. It's the pseudo biography of James Whale in his final years, and Brendan Fraser plays his pool boy.
We've talked about it, and yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Liechtenstein is a very tiny country.
It's very tiny.
It is nestled between Switzerland and Austria.
It is mainly a tax dodge country now.
The world of gods and monsters.
I thought the movie was just called Of Gods and Monsters.
The movie is just called Of Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, Pretorius has entered a world of Gods and Monsters.
I'm not getting that. Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. It's just called Gods and Monsters.
Oh, okay. Liechtenstein also looks very much like this is what they based Latveria on.
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. Yeah.
That looks like a country that would be ruled by Victor Von Doom.
Yes. Nice. I was always bummed. Forgot who it was in comics. Was kept challenging during the original for the 45 presidency. He kept challenging reporters to ask about how do you feel about the effects that Latveria is having by funding terrorists.
Wait, what?
So this was during 45's presidency. Someone was like, someone in comics was like, I will pay a reporter $1,000 at a press conference to just ask him, what are your thoughts on Latveria paying for Muslim extremists' terrorism? Just to see him just go off on Latveria. Just like the same guy was like, ask how he feels about Wakanda withholding precious resources from their allies.
That would have gone about as well as we think it would.
Yeah.
Yep.
It had been made for a hilarious news cycle
Mm-hmm.
and then a depressing one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with your take on this. Again, I have still never seen Bride of Frankenstein, so I will challenge myself to be critical of the movie when I do watch it.
So you had not seen it before?
No.
Okay. I mean, there's an argument to be made that it could be a really beautiful movie if they just had not done some of those sillier elements.
Yeah,
it's not without its like a good artistic storytelling qualities.
It might have been that was like you're talking about. They did this thing and it was really cool. We didn't need to spend that much time on it. If it was the first time it was done on film, that's why they took that long.
And I'm sure that's very likely the case. But it's not that cool new effects does not good storytelling make.
No, but it does. There have been a lot of things that I guess I will start and finish the sentence. I promise.
Okay.
My modern version of this is post Return of the Jedi, pre Phantom Menace that George Lucas made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost all.
Which were all over the fucking board.
Because he's always trying stuff out.
Yeah.
And it was like I think it was Bullets Over Broadway.
No, I think you're thinking of Radioland Murders. Radioland Murders was the first almost complete CGI set.
Right. That is what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Where it was, the story was mediocre. It did meh at the box office, and it didn't matter because everyone's like, yeah, it was this, it was that. I'm like, none of you are talking about the fact that the background looked fake. None of you have said that. None of that is your complaint.
It doesn't look fake at all. You think it was a set. Much
like, and I liken this again to you're complaining about the thing that they want you to complain about. Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck is not a great movie. People were like, man, this is not great. This is bad. This is bad. Oh man, this is really corny. That duck, his line delivery is awful. I'm like, there's a walking, talking duck in the movie.
Right.
The animatronics on the face, the physical actor they have doing that, and how they interact, and the believability of it within the world was the thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing that they wanted.
It lives in that world.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes every physical Star Wars character actually in a scene and not computer generated. That's why it's real, because he was like, I think I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Young Sherlock Holmes, which actually is a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
But it's the 2D, it's the stained glass knight fight, the first interacting CGI character.
So none of these are good movies or good storytelling.
Hold on, though.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck, though. Okay, no one's complaining about how fake Howard looks in the movie, but Howard Duck is the point of the movie.
Yeah.
These two little miniature characters, absolute zero to do with the story.
Nope. But it was something cool that they figured out that they could do, and they had less oversight. Like
way less. It was like, here's your money. You got 14 days.
Sure. No, I mean, I get all of that. I'm just saying, I don't care for it.
That's
I
fair.
don't
No,
make a movie about miniature society.
Yep, that would have been
Tiny
really good.
cat-
They did eventually. Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
There you go. Like,
With,
cool.
with
This
a young
is really,
Sean Connery.
this is a really amazing technology that you've developed. It's going to revolutionize film. Save it for the movie that it belongs in. Don't just shoehorn it into whatever other fucking story you have.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's that's like I said. There's a bunch of dumb shit that doesn't belong. If you could omit those things, Bride of Frankenstein could actually be really beautiful.
Then you have a shorter movie.
You could give the bride more time.
But the men are the speakers.
I know it's almost amazing that they even chose to call it The Bride of Frankenstein, because it's really just about these two assholes and their terrible ideas.
Yeah, she doesn't have a whole lot of time in the book either.
And this obnoxious woman. Maybe they should have just named it after her.
That's Una. That's a character actor that I think just James Whale just loved her. And she kind of plays the same character in all the Universal movies.
She's like the Jennifer Coolidge of her time.
Yeah.
Did either of you see the show? Why am I blanking on the name now? Penny Dreadful.
I didn't. It was on my watch list for years.
I saw the first season. I didn't watch the one where it became like the Weird Day of the Dead themed one in LA.
Oh, that's like fourth season.
Oh.
The first three seasons are all centered in London.
Right.
And it is all of the Universal monsters. They have a fascinating take on the bride. Because she is in it. She is a part of it. She is made at the demand of the creature.
Well, yeah, she is in the book too.
Sure.
Because in the book, it's basically like, if you do not give me a bride, I will show up on your wedding night and take yours.
Yep.
In the book.
In the original Frankenstein?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He kills Victor's wife during their wedding night. Rips her heart out.
And
because by then, this is when the creature is like, because in the book, he's very intelligent. He's not an idiot.
Yep.
Mhm.
He's almost too intelligent. He realizes the hypocrisy of humanity, and he's like, "Fine, if I can't get people to even tolerate me, great. They want a monster, I'll give them a fucking monster."
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the bride, about
The creature.
Victor's wife to be being killed. But I expected, when I started watching Bride of Frankenstein, I had the expectation that it was going to be his wife dies and he wants to bring her back, and that's who the Bride of Frankenstein becomes, or
That's kind of what happens in the book.
Yep.
That's
actually the plot of Frankenhooker.
Should I also put that on my list?
You should.
We should.
You should put Frankenhooker on your list.
Greatest VHS box of all time.
It was.
Her nipples were buttons. And when you pushed it, her eyes lit up. This is like 80s tech. And this bad voice box in the VHS box went, "Wanna date? Wanna date?"
Wow.
It's amazing. It's very hard to find a Frankenhooker box that just doesn't work anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is not a good movie.
No, I can tell. I can already tell.
Yeah.
That this is not a good movie.
No.
But it's also very fun.
But one cover and one still, and I know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I know what to expect, everything's fine. Just like Cabin in the Woods. I can fully appreciate that movie now. It is what it is. It's got funny shit. It's got fucking Bradley Whitford. It's a good time.
Thor.
It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was expecting like a hard horror film the first time I sat down to watch that, and it's absolutely not that. And I'm like, poop. This is this is poop.
I really hope one day I can do my comic spin on the Universal monsters. Someday. I like my bride a lot. She's very tech.
I think it's time for a break. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I had a good transition to go into Asylum, and it's gone.
Oops.
No, it's fine. But we should talk about them.
Yeah, you mean the
before
folks
or
that,
after the break?
Are we taking like a real break? We can take a real quick break.
let's take a break,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back with this one. We can do
Yes.
it now.
Yes.
What's up? Okay.
We're gonna come back with it. We're gonna come back with this item. Break. We'll be right back.
Back.
Those are
Welcome back. I feel like I do that a lot.
Ticket.
Mr. Contact. I was wondering.
Now you've lost me. What's this?
Same show.
Oh, I just know the song.
Please excuse if my son couldn't be today. Epstein's mother. It's a good show.
Was.
Yeah.
Vinny Barbarino.
What?
Epstein. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Is it me?
It's not me.
Shouldn't be. I don't hear anymore. Nope, there it is. Nope, I hear it. I don't know.
Everyone's lids are on tight. Yeah.
Yep.
That's weird. Oh.
Do.
Anyway. You know it's not weird?
Asylum.
Decorating your house from asylum. Love.
Echo.
3713 South Boulevard, right across from the Baghdad Theater. You can also call them 503-232-8482. Insert ad copy here.
So we've talked about their hours. We've talked about their sort of pivot in product. And
all modern, minimalist architecture now,
and design. And here's the thing: I did always love the furniture. But I think that all the smaller decor stuff is really where they.
Were they?
Yeah.
I'm totally enraptured by this. Is where they're really really shown, and now it's all that. It's the small individual stuff that they hunt from all over, and they source stuff that you're not going to get at Target or a Walmart or IKEA. Regardless of whatever quality or price range you're looking at those big box stores, it's still a big box store.
I mean, yeah, I know. And Asylum gets a lot of their stuff from the Nordic countries, but without the drabness of an IKEA. Like you're not going to ever buy something called a Houdon with the Bjorgens.
That every other house has.
No particle board, but I know I talked about it before, but now we get to go into it. It's the single candle holder that is designed for carrying and lamenting. And it's designed for being woeful and just walking around,
but in a modern minimalist way.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of haunting your Victorian manor, you're haunting your Art Deco inspired modern apartment.
Your mid-century ranch.
Yeah.
Who's that? Famous architect.
I know you're talking about too.
Right. Frank Lloyd Wright.
My brain was like House on Haunted Hill, the original House on Haunted Hill. That's Frank Lloyd Wright's house.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, all the exterior shots.
Yeah. I think we have one here, like one of his homes. Anyway,
that's up in the West Hills, I'm sure. But if you were carrying a candlestick in a home like that, it would be this candlestick.
It would be. Or if you are a dungeon master who's about to potentially wrap up a Curse of Strahd campaign, you would also carry this while TPKing a party that's gotten out of control.
Or if you're me, you would be carrying the little Evo style candle holders. They still have them.
They do.
I would think as a DM, you would light your table with the full moon lamp.
Yes.
For your Curse of Strahd.
I may bring that, especially because there's a certain player that the full moon means bad news for them. I mean, good news for a DM. Sure. Oops, it daisy.
Lamps. Also, they've got such great lamps. Again, modern minimalist. Lots of black powder coat, gold, brushed gold, which is 100% my vibe.
Yeah. I love some of the pieces that I'm seeing too. Again, we bring this up a lot, but I feel like you were to do a TOS fan film, you would just buy your set decorations from Asylum. The vases and candle holders from the urban nature culture are really fucking cool. And like I could see Spock meditating in front of that, contemplating the end of times.
Do they still have those cool floor mats, like indoor rugs, for your front door?
Yeah, the
cool
ones
patterns?
they're technically made of plastic, but they last like 60 years, and they can be washed.
I think they're made from recycled plastic.
Yeah, the Chill Witch doormat. Chill Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And lamps. I really like this. It's like this like cream blue, like a half circle dome, but then there's another like dome inside underneath of it, and then the base is another little dome. It's so round and
speaking of Frank Lloyd Wright, also they have salt and pepper shakers designed by him or designed after his architecture,
like his house. Yeah, I remember those. So lots of really cool, unique elements to decorate your home or give as gifts.
Especially since gift giving season is now
right around the corner.
Yeah, and especially like if you know someone in your life that doesn't have a lot of room, like this host, a lot of like their cool shelving and stuff for plants, because I want more plants in my apartment.
How's your new baby doing?
It's good.
Yay.
Yeah. Like my apartment gets tons of natural light, actually, a lot. So much so that at times I'm like, I'm closing the blinds, it's too much fucking light.
Right.
But I don't have nowhere to put plants.
So you need to put them on the wall.
On the walls or stuff like that. So I would really.
Yeah, they have a lot of really cool shelf solutions.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ones that are like inverted cubey.
Those are the ones I was looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really cool.
So if we're bouncing around, like there's like a reason for it. They have a lot of cool stuff.
So really, you should just get your ass down there.
Just get your ass down there. 3713 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard, across the Baghdad Theater. I feel like what Goog too.
No, we're not done. I wanted to do it at the end.
Oh, well then let me do one more thing. So next week, I'm not going to talk about them now, but they have these little collections that if you're a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, is that the guy who only films white people?
No,
Wes Anderson. No, but is that the other guy's what? That's the Event Horizon guy, right?
Paul W.S. Anderson is different than Paul Anderson. Paul T. Anderson. There are too many Paul Andersons.
Wes Anderson.
They're not Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is the
anyway, guy. There's something there that if you like Wes Anderson movies, he has things. He and Deb have things that would allow you to do a stop. You know what? Wrap it up.
Yep.
3713 Southeast Hawthorne Boulevard, PX Asylum, for lovers of minimalism, modernism, and design.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
That's really good.
Well done.
Nailed it.
Now it's time to be Cerrito strong.
Lower decks.
Lower decks. Lower decks. And we're out.
Where to start?
So, I think we should speak.
He looks just like Tom Paris.
Yeah, he does.
I don't see it.
God damn.
It's such a good recurring bit. Look at him, just like him. No.
It's right there. I mean, the fact that the two-part season finale tied the show directly into the episode of TNG Lower Decks in a way that just gut punches you.
Well, not
as a viewer,
not the episode Lower Decks. Well, because she appears in 2 episodes. I know you're saying
she does, but it like Mike McMahon has talked before about how Lower Decks from TNG was the inspiration for Lower Decks.
Right.
TV
that's right, because there's the Klingon on the planet is like, your friend died doing what she loved. How dare you dishonor her by not promoting yourself, by not accepting promotion.
Yep. The second that Mariner utters, it's like, I miss Cito so much. It's like, fuck.
And then in the finale, you realize that they weren't even friends. She looked up to Cito.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When she said Cito's name, I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It took me longer than the average bear to put those together because my brain is bad. But I was like, I do know her. I do know her. And wait, I thought Worf felt responsible for her death. I don't really know much about this other storyline where Cito and those other.
So it was first. Was it called The First Duty?
Nova Squad.
Was the episode just called Nova Squad?
I don't remember the name of the episode. It may have been First Duty.
So it's when Wes is at the academy, and it is Nova Squad is the elite. Is one of the elite elements in the academy, which eventually DS9 creates Elite Squad.
Right. And so I remember when I looked up Cito, I was like, "Oh, I know her. From Lower Decks episode. Wow, that's they finally put those together. But I did not know about this other the Nova Squad, all of those events.
And that was why she had that scene in Lower Decks with Captain Picard, where he explains, like, I brought you on this ship. I already knew your history. I wanted to make sure that if of anywhere you were going to get the fairest shake you were going to get in Starfleet.
I love that part, and I always love the interaction with Worf, that he creates like a bullshit fighting style where you're blindfolded, and then he's really quiet. He just keeps knocking her on her ass. He's like, again, and finally she gets up and rips the blindfold off. He's like, "What's the problem with you, Ensign?" She just yells at him. She's like, "It's not fair." He's like, "Very good. Now you have learned the lesson. There are things that are not fair, and it's how you deal with it. You have passed." I'm like, "Oh, okay, nice." Yeah.
It was. I don't know that Mariner has ever mentioned this character before. If I remember correctly, she has. There have been inklings, and of course, obviously, the whole point of the Mariner character is that she shirks responsibility. But we've known for a long time that it's for these maybe not subconscious, but for reasons that she doesn't talk about. She's not just a fucking slacker. She is avoiding the hard things.
Yeah, because she's clearly very good at what she does, and people do follow her.
Yeah, she's got a ton of experience. She's really smart. She's got leadership skills for sure. It is purely psychological that she sabotages her own career over and over. Right. We've known that for a long time, but now we finally, after 4 whole seasons, get to learn exactly why.
And which makes this one of the slowest burns I've ever seen in Trek.
Yeah, it was really well done.
No, like this totally felt like, oh, McMahon's had this plan the entire time.
Absolutely.
Right. Because even to the point of whenever Mariner runs any sort of program on the holodeck where there's an antagonist, the antagonists are Cardassian. And now I know why.
Yep. Cardassians killed her friend.
Yep. It's like, oh, that's why. Okay.
Because even when she makes like the antagonist like Romulan, she's kind of just poking fun at him. But when she has a drag out fight on the holodeck, it's always Cardassians.
Yeah,
always.
I had not,
because they killed her friend.
Yeah, there are all these tiny little things. Like even her friend that is a captain of another ship and that came on the Cerritos for a while, and she's like, "What the hell is with you? Like you were the best of us. I don't understand who you are." And it's like, oh, okay. So nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been carrying this quietly alone for years.
Yep.
And there are other like really great elements because it's fun. It's easy to like laugh at Boimler because he's such a fanboy for these legends of Starfleet. And that split moment when he's like, "This is acting cat," like the fanboy was gone.
Yep.
It was everything I have learned from all of these people I worship, I am now using. And I was like, wait, would I actually buy into a Captain Boimler one day? Like, I kind of think I would.
Yeah, at that point, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's young. He's younger than Mariner. He's who Mariner was in those flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
But
the starry-eyed, like, you know.
Yeah, because Mariner...
he has been developed. He also has been growing.
Which also works when you realize that even though she picks on him relentlessly, I think one of Mariner's fears is that something's going to break Boimler and take that wonder out of his eye for being in Starfleet.
Yep.
That's why she's always trying to keep him safe. She's poking fun at him the whole time. And it's because I honestly think it's because the writers were like, this is part of her thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, obviously Mariner's backstory was like thought out in depth from the beginning.
She's kind of got that Pike guilt of no one dies.
Right.
Which is why I can't wait. We better get a 5th season because they have teased the animated Strange New Worlds crew in Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I thought that was going to be this season.
I thought it was too, but I guess not.
I thought it was too.
No, but I have even recently, not just like back when the first crossover happened. More recently, right. I saw
Norm,
like headlines about
Barter by Combat.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier I read that and I thought you said, Norm, that was a phrase you were using at home, and I'm like, I would love to watch Norm and Katie barter by combat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Which one ruffles their feathers?
It's your turn to walk the dog tonight. No, you.
Puff up. It's embarrassing. Do it.
I loved everything that went on with Tendi. And Rutherford has been a lot more stalwart this season. I don't feel like they've done a lot of deep dives, but they've spent the last couple seasons doing deep dives on Rutherford.
Yeah, I think his first step was when he got reprogrammed.
Yeah,
he died basically.
Yep,
mm-hmm.
And then
I think him wrapping things up with Badgie.
Yep.
That's true. That was
if
for him.
we did a 5th season, as much as I don't always want characters to pair up romantically, like that feels like in a way like a good thing for Tendi, and not to make it a big thing.
Oh, I feel like they addressed that very clearly in the episode where they had to pretend to be married, that they are not doing that at all.
See, I think they're going to.
No, I think they will eventually.
I think they will eventually.
It's when it was a conscious thing, it was too weird.
Yeah.
But they have a very specific kind of chemistry that in classic writing, it always ends up romantic. It just takes a couple stumbles first.
Normally, I'm on track with that, but I don't think that's what they're doing here. I honestly believe that they did that to address fans thinking that's where they're going.
And now they're done with it?
And now they're done with it because they're trying to get across that these 4 people, very specifically, are not romantic partners of one another. They are friends at a level that, like, Tendi and Rutherford's comfort with each other as friends is...
I get that. I guess what I mean is that we ever get a season, like a true series finale. They're like,
sure,
we're doing this many seasons. We're going to have an epic ender. That it kind of pulls in all good things, not an alternate future. I would kind of love it to play with certain tropes of, like, especially this happens a lot in animation, they then jump forward 20 years, especially if they do like the Stand By Me ending.
Right.
And Boimler flew off. And like, I would kind of love it to cut back to it's old Tendi and old Rutherford reading to like grandkids. And then they just call her like Auntie Mariner and have her rip them one more time of like, look at you two. Yeah, it's such a happy ending. And have Rutherford be like, wait, who knew? I had no idea. And have Mariner be like, yeah, because you two were idiots. You're the only two that didn't know.
Sure.
You know? And I also, like, I see what you're saying. Like, it would actually be more. It would be unsurprising for them to the writing team to be like, look, we've addressed this, and we're just not going to go with that trope. But the thing that doesn't make me expect that they're going to do a more traditional, romantic plot line for them is the fact that in that episode where they had to pretend to be a couple, even though it was super weird for them, and like afterwards they're like, oh no, we're happy as just friends. They are definitely attracted to each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even that's part of what made it so awkward for them.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we get more for obvious reasons, but I so need to know more about what's Tendi's title? Something of the winter.
Princess of the Winter Constellations.
Yeah.
Mistress.
Mistress.
But now it's her
Winston
sister.
Constellation.
No, she's like, I will come back as the mistress.
Mhm.
Yes. No, she's like, you've always wanted
Mm-hmm.
me to be there.
And
by
I
your
kind of
side.
like spoilers how it ends with her. She's like, looking off, seeing her friends warp out on the Cerritos, and then she turns and goes, "Let's do this." I'm like, oh,
Tendy's hardcore. Like
I
she's
love
such
Tendy.
a little cute little muffin all the time, but she's fucking hardcore, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think the three women of the season now that they've added Talen, because
great.
Talen is Mariner in Vulcan
form,
which is
but
why
don't ever tell Talen that. That would be, she would find that insulting.
I don't know that she would. Like Talen, it's one of the reasons why Talen listened to Mariner when Mariner was going, your commanding officer didn't know shit.
Right.
You were a Vulcan as fuck.
I think Talen would see it as a compliment until someone mentioned about the whole, like, you lead with your heart. She'd be like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that she would be insulted by that. I think that the reason that she works is because she matches the same energy as Tendy and Mariner, and those are her contemporaries.
Mm-hmm.
And
right,
like at no point does she have any. She doesn't back down.
No,
like she was one of the few people that got through to Mariner when they were stuck on that planet. She's like, this is you are not doing this.
Right.
Like when she took someone out, like she's like, I was going to beat him up. It's like, yeah, I did it for you. You're welcome. We're moving on.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm not going to fuck with you, Vulcan, because
it's just such a. I still know people that are like, I just can't get into a funny Star Trek. I'm like, you are so doing this show a disservice. Yes, the jokes are there. I feel like the jokes are much more subtle now. They're not as overt. I mean, compared to the first season is how I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like the first season of Orville was dick and fart jokes, and then it stopped being that.
Yep.
It stayed funny, but it stopped being that.
Yep.
I do love that it seems like now every season they pick a TOS movie to completely visually ape.
Mm-hmm. You mean like Wrath of Khan?
They did it. It was so overt and wonderful. I kept expecting to hear the Jerry Goldsmith score, or the Horner score, James Horner.
I haven't seen all of the movies, nor have I seen any of them enough times to like really pick up on those.
Yeah, there's the whole with the
the whole Carno Mariner submarine chase in the cloud.
That's all Wrath of Khan.
That was Wrath of Khan. She had the Genesis device. She had the Genesis device.
Yeah, the ongoing, like, I don't see it.
Joke about, like, I did, sorry, brain fart.
Processing.
I also want to talk about the fact that Carol Freeman is one of the best captains in Starfleet.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, we've seen her do Enterprise level shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. She does some Archer shit.
Yes. The fact that I watched season 4 of Discovery and went, when the fuck did the Ferengi get into the Federation? To have that answered by lower decks, is like, oh, this is apparently when.
And open first diplomatic channels with the Orions, which clearly doesn't work out if you watch Discovery.
Correct, but there are other things.
Yeah, there's other mitigating circumstances. I would like to see, because this is just me hypothesizing.
The thing with the Orions is off the books.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. It's off the books. Yeah.
The stuff from the crossover episode? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that stuff's not on official.
I almost wonder if this is part of the, like in Lower Decks Writer's Bible, that the reason why it's Beckett Mariner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why she doesn't command a more high, a more visible ship, like a sovereign,
like an
class or-
Enterprise.
yeah,
That's
sovereign.
what Cable was saying, not Enterprise.
Oh,
The
Harold
show,
Freeman.
Enterprise
Freeman, yeah,
class.
I wonder if in the Bible, the writer's Bible, if they have one, I'm assuming they do, it's the whole like, look, my husband is like a high-ranking admiral. I don't want people to think that I'm commanding a Galaxy class or a Sovereign class because my husband commands whatever the Sixth Fleet.
Sure.
Because she is big on propriety and how she is perceived. She's very much on people get their roles on merit, and I can see her being like, I can see her husband being like, you've done this for a long time. You're highly decorated. Like, if you want it, you have earned a flagship, a higher profile ship. You could even bring your crew with you, your command crew, and have her be like, it would look weird. I could see her doing that, like overthinking it. I'm not saying it's a healthy thing. I'm saying I could see her doing that.
I don't.
Okay.
But and I never really thought about it about this sort of thing. Like, why isn't she on a more like a higher profile class ship? Maybe it's Mariner.
Oh no, there's probably that too.
Maybe she stays. She tries to stay in the same arena that Mariner won't let herself be promoted out of.
Yeah,
and it could be the thing where she's like, I won't promote out until, because at times she still refers to it like, look, I'm your commanding officer, but you're still my kid, and I'm going to protect you, and you still haven't snapped out of this, so I'm going to see it through with you, whatever it is.
Which is
what I think Ransom has been doing with her all season with Mariner.
He put it out there. He's like, I'm not going to let you keep sabotaging yourself. Yeah. I know what you're capable of, and I'm not falling for your games.
Yeah. Which has been such a cool growth of Ransom because he's just been a beefcake for 3 seasons, off and on.
For the most part, everyone's development has been gradual. I think a lot of the stuff has just been a lot more overt this last season.
Yeah, like there's been growth with Jax, Miglimo, Dr. Tana, like all of them have been able to be showcased in such a way. It's like, oh, you're not the doofus upper command that they're always rebelling against. Like, you also have reasons why you've done things and what you're doing now. What?
George Takei was in an episode of Lower Decks. Oh, because they had the, never mind, I forgot. They had the TOS kind of thing, and he played Sulu.
I don't remember that.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in the Nexus.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yep.
What were you saying?
Don't remember now.
It's gone.
I do think that while I believe that Mike McMahon has a lot of these things plotted out, I do think also, especially with all of the characters, that the actors themselves have also, as they interact more and more with him and are becoming more of these characters, that he's like, oh yeah, we're doing this with your character now. And it's like, I'd like to do this. Yes, done. We're doing it. So I feel like Don Lewis is very heavily involved with the direction of where Captain Freeman is going. And it is very easy to look at both Mariner and Freeman as characters and go, oh yeah, now it's like, I didn't get the parental thing before. Now it's like Mariner is exactly the type of officer that Freeman would have been, which is why she's now a captain.
Yeah.
Like, they take the same, what seems like crazy risks, but they're very calculated because they are based on their own life experience. And their life experiences are a little more broader than most Starfleet officers.
Yeah.
That I considered being another reason why Freeman isn't on why she is the captain of a California class, is because her methods are too unconventional, and people are like, no, you need to keep her out of the spotlight because we never know what she's going to come out with.
It's like, if we just give her mundane assignments, she still comes back and goes, hey, I got us a Frank, you're joining Join the Federation. Also, I stopped this war. Also, I did this other thing.
You wanted me to do an escort, but also here's a peace treaty.
Yes. I do hope for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons why there's two reasons like on a surface level I really want more seasons. A, you need to give me at least 6 seasons because you've been doing homage posters for every season, and you still owe me 5 and 6. Which is why if we get to Lower Deck season 5, I want them to aid the teaser poster of Star Trek: The Final Frontier that shows just shows a theater seat flying through space, and it says the reason why they're putting seatbelts in theaters. Star Trek 5: The Final Frontier. It's so dumb. And also, because they've been in a relationship for 3 seasons now, I want to see a baby between Shaxus and Dr. Ta'ana. Just this weird, chonky, ridged head cat person. Like this weird... Yeah.
With little Bajoran nose ridge.
I do like during the potential of the Orion barter fight where Dr. Ta'ana's like, "You're fucking at him!" Like, she's so violent.
Yeah, she
and
is.
Then I love it when she's around those Bajoran women. When she's like,
oh man, that episode was so weird.
It's so good. No, we don't hunt him anymore. Believe it or not, make synthetic betazoids.
Gross.
It's so good though. And Donkey Doug. Gotta love Donkey Doug.
I had forgotten at this point that
and I forgot.
Cordero.
Yeah,
was in the good place. Is Donkey Doug?
Yeah, I don't think of Eugene Cordero as the guy from The Good Place anymore. It's been years. When Lower Decks first premiered, I was like, oh my god, they got Donkey Doug on a Star Trek. That's ridiculous.
But which means I need a guest appearance. I need him to have a relative and played by Manny.
Manny Jacinto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Portals. I still yell that sometimes. Portals.
Wow, that's silly. They should do that. That's very Lower Decks.
Yeah, it is.
I also forget that Phil Lamar is Admiral Freeman.
Oh right.
It's just God, it's just such a good. It's a good show. Poor Jennifer just died.
Oh yeah,
they kind of just
Jennifer
ended the relationship off camera. For a long time, people thought it was going to be she was going to start dating what's her name, Talin, and they're like, no.
That's
also look, yeah, Mariner's canonically bi now, but we can't have her constantly hooking up with chicks because then it becomes a bit.
Also, I felt,
and she has.
I feel like the breakup with Jennifer was very on-screen.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember why, but I do remember that it happened.
Sometimes I have to go back. Sorry.
So when they did interviews of the Cerritos crew, and the Cerritos, it came out that all of these horrible things were going on the Cerritos, and the one person that they didn't want talking to the reporter was Mariner, and Mariner went in and talked to her. And then all of these rumors started happening, and like Starfleet Command was pissed, and they all just went, "Oh, it's Mariner's fault." Mariner opened her big mouth, and she's like even Jennifer's like, "Nope, I don't believe you. You're too much of a wild card." She's like, "Well, if all of you believe this, I guess there's nothing I can do to say convince you, so I'm out." And she left Starfleet. And then it came out, everyone but Mariner spilled the secrets of the Cerritos. Every fucking member of the crew.
There are sometimes I have to go back and watch a Lower Deck because I don't remember things. I realize that at times, if it's like 11:30 at night on a new episode day, I'll be like, I'll just stay up. And by the last 10 minutes, I'm nodding off, and then in the morning, I'm like, no, I watched it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I go through and I watch it the day of, but
yeah, I don't do that.
So.
Yeah.
Old men always be falling asleep in front of the TV.
At 12:45 in the morning, not at 8:45 like people do.
Well, that's how it starts. The fact that you can't keep your eyes open in front of the TV is the thing.
I
And then that time is just going to keep creeping earlier.
didn't say fall asleep in front of the TV.
No, but he does.
Oh, okay.
He just said it, and we all know my husband does. Yeah,
Much earlier.
Okay.
Sometimes he's falling asleep before 10.
Oh, I've seen him fall asleep at like 8:58. Because you'll be upstairs. You were upstairs like fiddling, and we were watching like whatever we would watch.
Oh,
and I glanced over because I'd hear it.
He was not sleeping in that window of time, so it was really bad.
No, I feel bad. I feel like that's my fault.
Yeah, so anyway,
You're for sleep.
Yeah.
Watch Lower Decks.
Yes, watch it.
Yes, we obviously love it. You should watch it if you aren't already. I mean, how many of our listeners are not watching Lower Decks at this point?
Anyone who doesn't want to pay for television, which is a choice that I respect and support.
Look, eventually we're all going to go back to commercials. One thing that's going to be annoying me is they're going to keep raising their prices and have commercials. Here's the thing: charge me $15 a month for your service with no commercials, or charge me far less and I will have commercials. That's the deal. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't mind. Well, or don't charge me, but then have commercials. I don't mind. That's the deal.
No, but yes,
if there are commercials, there are no fees.
Yeah.
Well, good
because
luck with
that's the model.
Right.
That's called TV.
TV.
Right. I mean, you can still get free TV, but none of the shows we talk about are on regular TV anymore.
That's true.
So
No.
I mean,
yeah.
Unless
everyone
someone wants to
prices
join
this
me
year.
on a Columbo podcast, that would probably be your husband. And Matthew Clark. And Rucka.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. There's your
Yeah,
show.
it is, yeah.
You
But
can
then
still-
we have
you
but
can
then
still
we'd have
watch
to do
Columbo
one off
for
for
free.
the Rockford Files, and then we bring in Ring.
Yep.
Boy, it should be a sausage fest.
Yep.
I love you all. I don't want to be on that show.
It's fun.
Surround yourself with white men.
I love Columbo so much. It's so good. Oh, one more thing.
Yep. Norm says he fell asleep last night in front of the F1 race last week. Oh, no, he fell asleep last night, but also last week in front of a race.
Well, it's because I get there's skill and talent involved, but watching racing is boring unless it's rally racing. F1 doesn't do
I'm
that.
going to assume that if Norm is watching F1 racing, he doesn't find it boring.
It's boring.
Either way, it's not about the content.
Also, they do more than turn left in F1. And I know, don't come at me. I actually know it does actually take skill to do that. It does.
You said so. You
And,
opened with
it
that.
can be exhausting to do it.
Still not going to watch it.
Yeah, there's a difference between being able to have the skill to drive a sports car and watching people drive.
It's like watching golf. It's boring as hell.
Yes.
Yes.
You were right. We should wrap up the show. I was about to say that too. Next week, can we say what we're reviewing, or is that still a hush-hush thing?
I haven't heard for sure. So
Because I haven't heard a single press review of it yet either.
We
Like
might be
a
talking
written
about
one.
a thing next week.
Really? We'll talk about that off air,
Yeah.
but no announcements right now.
Well, we'll likely be reviewing a show.
We will.
We
We can definitely do
We just
that.
want to say what it is this week.
We'll definitely be on air next week.
Yeah.
How does that sound? That's
We
okay.
are so good at teasing this, guys. We definitely have some good plans for next week's show, so make sure to be here.
Yeah. I'm still recovering from Susanville, y'all. Because I didn't sleep for shit when I was there.
Anyway, who are you?
I'm on Durant.
I'm Banarita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
We will speak to everybody next week. Lower decks. Lower decks.